Ange Postecoglou has sent a cheeky message towards Ibrox during his World Cup punditry, but that is not even the biggest story today. Daizen Maeda has just made his clearest admission yet that he could leave Celtic this summer, and the comments are already setting the transfer rumour mill alight. We have also got a forgotten Celtic defender being back to shine under Martin O'Neill. The club's stance on Alistair Johnston should bids start coming in after his World Cup performances, and a transfer deadline worth watching tomorrow night that could open a door for Celtic in midfield. Let's get into it, but first make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Ange Postecoglou appeared to slip in a subtle dig at Ibrox while covering the World Cup for ITV on Monday night. The former Celtic manager was part of the punditry team for Japan's dramatic last 32 defeat to Brazil, and one particular comment quickly caught the attention of supporters. Discussing the aura that comes with facing the most successful nation in World Cup history, Postecoglou pointed to the 5 stars displayed above Brazil's crest, but it was the way he described them that raised a few smiles. Brazil, of course, wear 5 stars to represent their 5 World Cup triumphs, the most of any nation. Postecoglou said on ITV, "I think Brazil does naturally intimidate opponents. They walk out with a shirt with 5 stars that actually means something, winning at this level." It was the phrase "actually means something" that many Celtic supporters will have enjoyed. Ibrox display 5 stars above their club badge, while Celtic have a single star representing their 1967 European Cup triumph. Brazil's stars, meanwhile, commemorate success on football's biggest stage, with the Selecao chasing a record-extending 6th World Cup this summer. Postecoglou's comment came ahead of a match that ended in heartbreak for Japan. The Samurai Blue pushed Brazil all the way before Gabriel Martinelli scored deep into stoppage time to secure a 2-1 victory for Carlo Ancelotti's side. Whether his remark was an intentional swipe at Ibrox or simply an observation about Brazil's pedigree is open to interpretation. Either way, Celtic fans will have enjoyed every second of it. Now for the main story, as Daizen Maeda has admitted, the World Cup has left him feeling that he must continue to improve, comments that could fuel speculation over his Celtic future this summer. The Japanese forward was one of his country's standout performers during the tournament, scoring once as Japan reached the knockout stages before suffering a heartbreaking 2-1 defeat to Brazil. Despite the disappointment of that last 32 exit, Maeda leaves the World Cup with his reputation enhanced. Now, his latest comments have hinted that he may feel a fresh challenge is needed to keep progressing. Reflecting on the tournament, Maeda admitted it had shown him there is still another level for him to reach. He said, "The World Cup made me realise that I can't stay at my current level." Maeda has enjoyed an outstanding end to the season at Celtic, playing a pivotal role in Martin O'Neill's side winning the Premiership and Scottish Cup double. His relentless pressing and eye for goal made him one of the first names on the team sheet, while his performances at the World Cup have only strengthened his standing. Interest in the 28-year-old has been building throughout the summer, with clubs across Europe credited with monitoring his situation. While Maeda stopped short of saying he wants to leave Celtic, his comments suggest he believes the next step in his career is an important one if he is to continue developing. Whether that next step comes at Parkhead or elsewhere remains to be seen. Celtic, for their part, will be desperate to keep hold of one of their most influential players. With a major rebuild already expected this summer, losing Maeda would create another significant void for Martin O'Neill to fill. His remarks are unlikely to quieten the transfer speculation surrounding his future. If anything, they may only add to it. In other news, Maik Nawrocki is back at Lennox Town with another opportunity to revive his Celtic career. The Polish defender has returned to Glasgow after his loan spell at Hanover came to an end. Although the German club held an option to make the move permanent, they chose not to activate it, meaning Nawrocki is back at Celtic ahead of the new season. It came down to the price they would have to pay more than anything else. Now, with Martin O'Neill in charge, he has another chance to establish himself in the first team. Nawrocki impressed during his time in Germany. After forcing his way into Hanover's back three, he produced a series of composed performances before injuries disrupted his momentum. He also contributed at the other end of the pitch, scoring several goals from set pieces. With Ross Grant now joining Celtic as the club's specialist set-piece coach, That aerial threat could become another asset if Nawrocki earns regular minutes. His previous opportunities at Celtic were limited. For one reason or another, Brendan Rodgers never appeared to fully trust the centre-back, with most of his appearances coming through necessity when injuries or suspensions left few alternatives. Frank McAvenny believes that should change. Speaking on his Let Me Be Frank podcast, the former Hoops striker made a bold claim saying, "Nawrocki, he's back training. I like him. I think he's the best defender Celtic has got. I know I have a go at Liam Scales, but when we're under pressure, he's the best defender we've got. He doesn't think and he puts his body on the line. But Nawrocki is a really good defender. He can play out and he's comfortable." Whether Martin O'Neill shares that view remains to be seen, but Nawrocki begins pre-season with the opportunity to make a fresh impression under a new manager. With Celtic facing a demanding campaign that includes Champions League qualification and the defence of their domestic double, strength in depth will be crucial. In other news, Celtic are still waiting to make their first signing of the summer, but several current squad members have used the World Cup to remind clubs exactly what they are capable of, with Alistair Johnston the latest to catch the eye. Johnston has featured in every one of Canada's World Cup matches so far and completed the full 90 minutes in their round of 32 victory over South Africa. The right-back has once again shown the consistency that has made him one of Celtic's most dependable players since arriving in Glasgow. Reliable defensively and always willing to contribute going forward, Johnston has looked right at home on football's biggest stage. That level of performance inevitably attracts attention. Speaking on the Keltzer Here Extra Time podcast, Mark Hendry outlined why Celtic remain in a strong position despite the growing interest Johnston is likely to generate. He said, "The defender has shown his prowess both defensively and in attack for the Canucks, and will have put himself in the shop window whether he or Celtic wanted him to or not. Johnston, 27, has been as consistent for his nation as he has been in 3 years in Glasgow." Lastly, journalist Alan Nixon has reported that Celtic could be one to watch if Preston North End fail to complete their move for Tottenham midfielder Alfie Devine before their deadline. Devine spent last season on loan at Preston, and the Championship side have been in pole position because of the option attached to that deal. But Nixon has suggested the situation could get interesting if Preston do not get it sorted before tomorrow night's cut-off. Asked on social media whether Celtic could go in for Devine, Nixon replied, "If he doesn't sign by tomorrow midnight, but it is not a cheap deal." There was also a key update on the likely fee, when one supporter suggested the price would be a minimum of £9 million. That's all the latest Celtic news for today. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. I'll see you in the next one. Hail, hail.